Why dating apps on random dating sites have completely messed up people's ability to get to know a real person. I am Jacqueline, founder and creator of Discover Love Matches. And I have to say, especially with the crazy pandemic, more people were online than ever before. And they are so overwhelmed and exhausted and annoyed and frustrated with dating profiles. And so when they come to an opportunity to meet a real human and not caught up by a profile, their brain is still sifting through all of the different options on a dating site. And so our agency, Fabulous Discover Love Matches, I have a membership software where people answer questions, create an internal profile, mostly just so I can organize everybody and then be able to send people information within the agency to check one another out. When I first started my agency, people would fill out a form and I'd print it and I'd put it in a white notebook all on my shelf, and it was packed with all these wonderful people. Now life changes, things shift, people's goals and dreams and hobbies and interests are always shifting. So thank goodness for the ability to be online and be able to update this information. But one of the things I find so interesting is that when somebody fills out one of my profiles, they always say, wow, these questions are more in depth, there's more specific. And I'm like, absolutely. Plus, we pre-approve everybody. So a profile is just a holding space. It's a way for me to keep things organized, have pictures, have people update their information, and for members to message one another. Now with that though, there's a whole world of information about people that has nothing to do with a profile. So I always struggle. I wish I could just say, you two need to meet and you don't get to know anything about each other. I am the professional and I think you should meet. But of course, because of dating apps, we've become conditioned to need some information. But I will tell you so many times over and over and over and over again, please read profiles with a huge grain of salt and also allow yourself an opportunity to say, hey, what if I saw past a couple comments that threw me off because maybe another guy I dated said that, or another gal I dated said this that I didn't like. We pick out a phrase or two or a comment. And we don't understand that men and women, as glorious as you guys are, you guys think differently. You use a phrase that a woman will interpret one way and a man is saying it a whole different way. And thank goodness I am blessed enough to work with men and women, and I can translate and I can tell you that one man's view of curvy is a whole different view for a woman. I can tell you that a sense of humor is very different for one and another. I can also tell you that there are people that are active where they like to take a walk every day. And there are people that are active that want to climb mountains. So everything's different in interpretation of one single word. Active means different things to different people. What is so crucial and so necessary is that if you genuinely want to find the love of your life, look at a profile and not dig into the picture. Don't overanalyze the words. Oh my gosh, some of the things that people will say, oh, they said this phrase, I don't want to go out with them. I'm like, okay, but 90% of the profile works for you. Maybe we could explain to him how that came across to you. And he would go, oh my gosh, that's not what I was trying to say. It's called communication. You teach people how to treat you. But what happens so often is people see this phrase, they're looking for the wrong thing. And because when you have been scrolling through dating apps after one another profile from one site to the next, you get to where you think you've actually got a recipe of deciding who you want to meet, what kind of person you want to meet. And these are your trigger words. These are your trigger phrases. But I can tell you one thing really, really true that I think you're going to believe with me. You're wanting an in-person human relationship. You're not looking for a computer relationship. Unfortunately, that's how our world is. We got to organize it that way initially, but get the frickin' off the computer as fast as you can. If you can find a handful of things that meet your requests and criteria, just go for it. If it doesn't work out, at least you met a new person. You never know if you don't go out, because then you have no idea. But if you do go out, you can say, yeah, that didn't work, but they were cool. Or, hey, that worked and oh my gosh, I'm falling in love. Because the amount of times I've told clients, you need to meet this person. They're amazing. And they fight me and they challenge me and they just don't want to listen to it because, who knows, I'm actually a professional, but might not know what I'm saying. And they actually finally give in. They decide they've hired me for a reason. And then those are people that are often married years later, months later. It's because they kind of put that guard down, they overanalyzing, I'm going to be cautious, I'm not going to waste my time guard. Instead, they start to say, it's a person, just like you're a person. If somebody is interested in you, they deserve the respect of communication. If they are treating you respectfully and they want to get to know you, what harm is it to go out once and just say, hey, I'm not sure if I feel a connection, but I would love to meet for a glass of wine or a cup of coffee or a walk in the park. Just see more about you because I do like some of the qualities you're sharing. You have no clue until you get to an in-person human connection. This whole internet world drives me crazy because people have become so emotionally inept in their ability to look at a huge person's aspect. Instead, they look at the micro details of some words they chose. Now, I can also tell you, some people hire someone to write a profile. Some people can't write and describe themselves. They suck at it. I read so many bad profiles. It's horrible. And I'm like, but that guy's so great. That lady's so amazing. And her profile's horrible. Obviously, those that hire me, I'm going to coach them on it, but I can't fix every profile. Trust me. The thing is that people are so much more than their profile. A big part of why my agency is so successful is because I actually talk to every single person. I know some people better than others. Everybody has to do at least a 30 or a 90-minute appointment with me. So I know layers and layers and layers of people that have nothing to do with what's your favorite hobby, what are your interests. You know, I actually know them as a person, what their heart desire is, where they've been hurt, where they're looking to heal, how they want to spend their dreams and time and energy. Who gets them excited? So I want you to let yourself, when you are reading a profile, my agency, or you are on a dating app, just give yourself a moment and say, you know what? I'm just going to have fun with this. I'm going to let myself meet somebody new. And if it happens to be my person, awesome. If not, I'm going to make it a great time and I'm going to make sure they enjoy themselves. Then you go in with this attitude of, this is a quality, single, pre-approved for our agency, genuine person that is interested in meeting me. What could go wrong if I set up parameters, I communicate, set boundaries, be clear? Then possibilities could happen. But you will absolutely never, ever, ever know what's possible if you don't give somebody a chance. You just don't know. It's so easy to assume you understand and you know that person because of a handful of words and a couple drop-down menus. Give yourself the credit and the other person that they deserve to know more about you, about your potential, who you are. What if they're not interested because it's what you said? We never know until we actually have a real human conversation. So my challenge to you is to grab a few comments out of the profile that they've written that you like, something that resonates with you, and just say, hey, I'm just looking to make some friends. I don't know if we'll have a spark, but I'd love to meet you. Keep it light, keep it free. Make sure it's a time where you meet, where you're not even going to meet for an hour. If something more happens, you feel more of a connection, extend it, have another date. You can only improve in making better selections of matches and in your flirting when you give people a chance. Read between the lines or skip some of the lines, whatever it's going to take to get you to give yourself an opportunity to be vulnerable enough to let somebody find out who you really are, not just what your word count came to, what words of creativity. Some people are brilliant writers. So that doesn't mean they're going to be great in person. Some people are horrible about talking about themselves. It's painful to talk about themselves. But then the other part that's awesome, they're really good in person talking, or they have some dreams and something exciting, or they want to have fun on a Saturday night, and it's the same thing you want to do, but you won't know until you give somebody a chance. So shake off all the cobwebs, all the annoyance of online dating apps, and go in there with a fresh attitude, a fresh perspective, and realize this person is just as nervous, just as unsure, just as curious, just as excited as you. So let me know below in the comments what your thoughts are about dating profiles and what you're going to do to have a more open mind, be more flexible, more easygoing, and be aware of the possibilities of what's right in front of you, because somebody amazing is excited and eager to meet you, but they can't meet you if you don't go on a date. So let's have some fun with this and keep this conversation going.